Everybody, welcome to another episode of the Fanatically Biased Sports Show. We have got a great show tonight as we continue our journey through Team Chronicles. People, training camp is but only 2.5 weeks away, and the season is upon us. So with that being in mind, we decided to continue our journey with the unfortunate class of the NFC, with our great guest who needs no introduction. We know who he's a part of, the 49er Nation. We've got Rob Mercer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Avid 49ers fan. He goes to games. He laughs with them. He cries with them. He's a great fan. So we're going to put that in order. And we got our great co-host. We got Casey Williams. And then we've got Demetrius Watson. And we're going to talk about the 49ers and expectations, frustrations, pains, joys, who's the greatest, because that's a rich franchise. But before we do that, we want to does anybody have any fan perspective that we want to go through? I'll start with you, Casey. Any fan chronicles,
I think
over the last week.
Don't quote
fan
me.
Moments of the week.
Fan moments. That's
I think Angel Reese got her 15th double-double.
Broke the record.
Shout out to and then
Don't steal my fan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't steal my fan moment.
I'm sorry. That was yours?
Yeah. Really.
And I think her and Camilla. No, let me not take that from you. You can have that, D. She is the
No, go ahead.
First WNBA player to score like 200 points.
We got the same.
I think like 75 rebounds. A certain amount of steals, and so like kudos to Angel Reese. I'm still waiting on her and Camilla to get that to just make it a domination, but it's coming. I believe it's
fair
coming.
enough.
So that's
okay, Demetrius, what would you like to put forth?
Sorry, dude.
Oh well, yeah. No, it's all good. You just threw the alley-oop right to me. I'm just gonna back up Casey. Congratulations to Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky. What she's doing right now is different. We never seen it in the women's game. I know a lot of people saying she's stat padding, but screw the haters. That's all I got to say. We got her with pick number 6. And like you said, when her and Camilla get it together, that front court is going to be pretty unstoppable. So
done.
We're going to be all right.
Yeah. No rebounds. That's going to be the no rebound.
No rebounds. No fly zone.
When she gets a signature shot, it's a problem.
Like you're gonna have to play dirty to get a rebound against one of those two.
So yeah, like your girl Lisa Thomas. But we'll
here we go. She didn't know. No, she did. Her arm just kind of.
Okay. Moving on.
Oh, can I do one more? Can I do one more?
Go ahead. Go. Yeah.
So I just want to do one more. Shout out to Dawn Staley. She won the Jimmy V Award at the ESPYs. Her speech was
shout out to Dawn Staley.
And I couldn't. She basically said for those who tell her to shut up and coach, she will not. Because if she doesn't say something, what does that say for her players? That means they're supposed to just shut up and play. So it was a phenomenal speech. If you haven't seen it, it's about 4 minutes long. Go watch it. She didn't feel like she deserved the award, but she said she's going to keep fighting for everybody. For the 3, Nikki McCray, I think, passed away from cancer, and then 2 other people had cancer. She's going to keep fighting for those warriors, and I wanted to give that. So yes.
Got that. Okay. My fan moment of the week, it's been probably a couple of weeks, I'm going to say, is to my team, the Philadelphia 76ers, who have figured out how to make a team out of nothing. And I'm hoping that their addition of Paul George, Tyrese Maxey.
I was like, no.
Drummond. Look, I'll say it. I have it here. I'm hoping that the Sixers can do something, but shout out to, I'm critical of him, but Daryl Morey for doing what he could in the circumstances that he could do it in. If we want to debate those circumstances, we can, but with the cap space he got the best player. So that's shout out to the Philadelphia 76ers. We're hoping for I'll settle for the Eastern Conference Finals. I see that smirk, Rob. I don't need to see that. I don't need to see that.
Wherever Paul George goes, he loses.
You should see, this is the nickname you'll get from this podcast. Hater Rob strikes again. Hater Rob.
Oh, that's what I'm gonna name this episode. Hater Rob.
Hater Rob.
Hater Rob.
I'm sorry, Rob. I like you, but that's just great publicity.
Hater Rob. But with that being said, now we're moving on. We're going to talk with Rob. A couple of things about Rob. He's based out of Jacksonville, Florida, which is northern Florida. So I'll let the other hosts chime in, but I want to say, how being 3,000 miles away from the 49ers did you even become a 49ers fan? You got 2 football teams in your own state from the NFL.
Oh, that was easy. Like, well, we didn't have a team in Jacksonville growing up.
That's true.
We didn't
bad.
get a team until the late 90s. So my brother was I had one brother that was a Cowboys fan, another older brother that was a Dolphins fan. So 80s, remember the Niners, Cowboys, had that rivalry. So my oldest brother was a Cowboys fan. So I was like, I'm not going to cheer for the Cowboys. So I went, I did a little brother thing. It's like I'm cheering for the Niners. That's my team.
Okay. All right. I
like to jump right in because I just want to know this. I like to get right to the juice. So, my old interim coach, Steve Wilks, came over to be your defensive coach. He took a lot of flack for the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Who do we weigh this? And I don't want to say fault because I think fault is a heavy word. But do you think Kyle Shanahan is ultimately responsible for his 49ers loss in the Super Bowl? Or are we going to say Steve Wilks called the wrong play? And
get him, Casey.
On Steve Wilks. Sorry, I just want to jump right.
Get him, Casey.
I don't think the Super Bowl loss was on Shanahan or Wilks. It was on Christian McCaffrey. Opening drive. We're going down the field. We need to score a touchdown.
That's your cutie. What do we say to that?
He fumbles.
Steve,
Wait.
You're supposed to say the key word. Delusional. I'm hitting the button.
No. I have to have my flag and throw it before I even say it. Flag on the play. Flag on the play. Rob, look, I wore red for you. I have a Roger Craig jersey, and this is the first thing that you say. Yes. Oh my goodness, delusional. Dude.
And Christian McCaffrey is one of our old players, so how dare you?
I love Christian McCaffrey.
He doesn't call the plays.
Momentum is everything, especially with the 49ers. We have a rhythm offense, so we needed to get flowing. We're going against Mahomes and the Chiefs. We need to get flowing. We're moving down the field. You got to get 7 right there. We should have been up 17 or 21-0 at halftime. But we're only up 10. Like, that was the problem. You can't fumble there.
So what about when you throw the ball 6 straight times and go 2, 3 and out starting half instead of giving it to Christian McCaffrey,
who had 160 total yards, I might add, in the Super Bowl.
Listen. I'm just saying how if you look at all of our losses during the year, it was because in the opening drive, in the opening quarter, we didn't have that certain rhythm that we need and that we flow off of throughout the entire game. Yes, Christian McCaffrey, his stats were good in overall for the Super Bowl, but I'm telling you that all 49ers fans know this. The opening quarter means everything. And it's been like that for the 49ers when we're good since the 80s. Like, we are a rhythm offense. When it's flowing, just like when his dad was offensive coordinator with the 49ers. Speaking of Shanahan, like that's how their offense works, and that's how we get it going. So I blame the Super Bowl loss on the first quarter and that fumble. Like,
all right.
That's the way I see it.
Okay. Here's my second question, then I'll let Dee and Elliot do the rest of the pummeling. Week 6, Cleveland Browns, down to the wire. There's a field goal kick that decides the game. He misses. What happened? What happened during the whole game? And then at the end, it was a field goal that cost you all that 6-0, the potential 6-0 starter season. So talk about that. Like, was it still again on the kicker, or was it on Shanahan, or was it on for not coaching against that defense, or was it on Steve Wilks for the defense not shutting down the defense of the Browns? Talk to me.
That was on the kicker.
Okay.
That was on the kicker. We had a lot of injuries that game. So I thought we did an excellent job given how well Cleveland's defense played. We had a lot of injuries, and for my quarterback to get us down there on that last drive when, you know, he really didn't have much of anything left to throw to.
You won't even say his name. Say his
Purdy
name.
got us down there.
Okay.
Purdy got us down there.
You said my quarterback. You're not.
You know, you got to hit that kick. You know, we had a rookie kicker. You got to make that kick and get out of Cleveland with the win. You got to do that. So,
okay, I'm gonna give you a pass on the Cleveland game. The weather was, but I think Casey brought up a great point in the sense of it seems like when you get to the point where you're in scoring position, the coach kind of gets conservative. We saw that in the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Y'all went right down the field in overtime. And then you get in the 18-yard line, there's a penalty or something. And I don't know if it's a penalty, but y'all went right down the field. And then it was like,
we didn't know the rules.
That game is y'all went for the end zone once.
Didn't know the rules.
That's what they said. We didn't know the rules.
Right.
And I'm saying, but this is a thing.
I mean, there's a touch that play right before the field goal. There's a touchdown. If the lineman blocks, Ayuk is open. But Purdy needed those extra 2 seconds. He didn't get that. Ayuk is open. Ayuk is cutting and open. If Purdy gets just another 2 seconds, there's a touchdown right there. So, I mean, that's
coaching.
I watched that play, and it seemed like, well, it seemed like that the line shifted the wrong way. I don't know if Purdy called it or if he didn't audible or the center or something, but the blocking scheme for that particular play was off. They I don't know if they, because that whole, what was that, the left side of their line of Chiefs line? I mean, it just came right through. So
yeah, they did.
That was some type of miscommunication.
That was.
To be fair, Rob.
But
go ahead, D. I'm sorry.
Well, not. I mean, I just wanted to stay on the Steve Wilks because I love that Casey brought that up first. I mean, that was what I wanted to dive right into, and I got some stuff for you. So I'm just gonna ask you beforehand: did he deserve to be fired?
Deserve? Well, I'm just, since, you know.
Go ahead, bro.
I'll put it out there. I didn't like, and the fans, none of us like Steve Wilks the entire year. Not just based on the Super Bowl, but he tried to mix in, which he's the defensive coordinator, so I can't fault him for this, but he tried to mix in some of what he likes to do as a coordinator into what we had already built there. So
that's what all coaches
make a decision. You either have to go all in your way or build your scheme around what we already had that was working. And so this kind of hybrid thing that he tried to do, it did not work. And I feel like the adjustments in the Super Bowl was because the fans and the, I guess, other coaches were calling them out. Like, come on, man. Like, we have all of this talent. We should not be having teams. I mean, teams were just running down our throat in the playoffs and before the playoffs. I noticed it leading up to that. I'm like, man, our defense is going to cause us to lose early. I thought we would lose early in the playoffs because, I mean, just we couldn't stop the run. Could not stop the run. So
you did watch your defense the whole season, right?
In the playoffs,
they gave
yes.
up 17.3 points.
In the playoffs, yes. And in the regular season, they only gave up 89.7 rushing yards. In the regular season, in the playoffs,
that's overall. If you look,
you
start to look at those last games leading up to the playoffs.
I'll be right back, y'all.
The one against Arizona, just like they're just running through us. Like if you came in with a running quarterback, it was lights out. Like we weren't gonna stop you. So,
so from my understanding, is he was forced to play the wide nine. Is that true? And I mean that by having, the defensive ends light up in that wide nine, which means they are a run first. And it is like a gap heavy defense, and your linebackers are supposed to run free because your D line is holding the gap. I don't think your D line agreed with that philosophy, and maybe that's why. Like, that teams were able to run down your throat. They didn't want to hold their gaps.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think that's that. I heard about that conversation as well, and that was part of my frustration because, again, like I thought Wilks was operating with something that wasn't totally in his comfort zone. I think he even said that on a couple of interviews. That may have been after he got fired. I'm not sure, but like I don't think he was in a comfortable place there, and so I think if you're going to bring him in like they did, you got to either let the man do his thing, or like it just wasn't. I don't think it was the right fit. So
here's my theory.
He hasn't found a job, right?
I
mean, he hasn't found anywhere.
Can I interject here? I'm sorry, I had to leave there real quick.
Sure.
I don't think so.
I feel like Wilks. I feel like Wilks did what his expertise was. He's a back end coach. When you look at his background, he has coached the secondary. So I think, like, one of the things that I heard is if you talk to, I read quotes from Bosa, who's on the line, and they were like, and he said, I think Wilks did an amazing job on the back end. And that's his specialty. I think Wilks, if you look at the numbers, they were up in points by 1 point. I think Ryan's had a 16.2 and Wilks had a 17.3. They had a little more sacks under Wilks. They had, if I saw correctly, now I might be wrong, Casey, if you could look at a little more sacks, and I think they had more interceptions.
They definitely have more interceptions.
And I think that speaks to his expertise.
Well, the numbers are real close.
If you can look up the turnovers for 22 versus 23, if you can. I think
so I actually got some totals. But the turnover total, it gives Ryan's 21 and 22. So it gives 2 seasons for him and just the one for Wilks. But it's 1.5 for Ryan's to 1.7 for Wilks turnovers. But when you look at sacks, Wilks, they had 48 sacks in the regular season, and Ryan's had 48 in 2021 and 44 in 2022. So that's real close. Interceptions, 22 for Wilks, 14 and 21 for Ryan's, and 20 in 2022 for Ryan's. So the numbers are actually really close. The numbers that jump out to me for the regular season is 89.7 rushing yards given up for Wilks versus 103 and 21 for Ryan's, and then 77 in 22. So I mean, to me, I just don't understand why they didn't give him another year.
That's what I'm saying.
Now his playoff numbers were bad. I mean, the postseason for the 49ers last year, they gave up 25 points, 409 yards, 259 passing, 149 rushing. Right. They only had 5 sacks and 3 interceptions. So I get in the playoffs they didn't play as well. But with that being said, you still made it to the Super Bowl and you still were up 10-0 at half. And I'm just going to be honest, like outside of, I blame it on Kyle Shanahan, first and foremost. But I do believe if Dre Greenlaw doesn't get hurt, then you all win the ball game.
That's a great
point. Huge. That's huge. And especially in Wilks' system, because it's so relied on linebacker, to cover and to, like I said, we were talking earlier, when you got off for a second. Wilks' defense is very gap control. That's what they were running. And if your defensive line isn't controlling the gap, your linebackers can't run free. But when they were, you seen, Fred Warner have a career type of year.
Yeah,
Dre Greenlaw have a career type of year,
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't write down the numbers for that backup, Greenlaw's backup, but I do remember looking him up, and it's bad, because that's when Travis Kelce starts to really, really hurt you guys in the pass game. And so, but still, with that being said, as an offense, what are you going to do about it? And that's on Shanahan, man. I'm looking at Shanahan, and he's been to 3 Super Bowls, and it seems like he just has the same script for all of them. Yeah. How are you up 28-3 as an offensive coordinator at half and lose? I did some numbers, and I know we wouldn't want to watch this as players, as fans, but if they would have just ran the football every play and went 3 and out, it would have been impossible for the Patriots to come back, just from a time clock perspective. So again, that's why I said two drives in a row, instead of turning around and handing the ball off to 23, who's clearly the guy, your engine, the guy that starts your offense. You throw it 3 straight times. You ain't taking no time off the clock. You realize Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are on the other sideline. What are you doing? And we need to hold Kyle Shanahan more accountable. I'm sorry. I secretly like the 49ers. But and then also, why do you not have a good backup for Christian McCaffrey? Elijah Mitchell, he's just not it. He's not healthy enough.
Well, let Rob elaborate. Let Rob elaborate on that.
His health is his injury, but I actually like Elijah Mitchell. He's just always injured. Like, that's, yeah.
How can you like a player that's never on the field?
I'm just saying, when he's on the field, he produces. But yeah, that's been our issue with running backs for the past 5-6 years. Like, we keep getting these great guys.
No, it has. My buddy, shout out to Tevin Coleman. That's my guy. I played with him in college, and he was a Niner, and he's kept getting injured too. But that's been y'all's game plan for, like you say, the last 5-6 years. Run the football. So you would think they would get some competence. When they made that Christian McCaffrey trade, I was like, oh, it's over. But he can't carry the load on his own. Mm-hmm. Passing and catching the ball and running it. So you just got to get somebody back there that's gonna spare him a little bit instead of getting hurt after 2 carries every game.
Listen, Christian said himself after the game that he can't fumble on that opening drive.
Yeah.
I know nobody. Listen, I know. Yes, I do agree. Shanahan, sometimes he gets caught up. He really does get caught up in the whole his genius of this passing game. He did that in a few games.
Or lack thereof, because he's trash. But go ahead.
Yeah, he thinks he has the perfect, and he's like, oh yeah, this is gonna work. Like, he gets so caught up in that when he does need to hammer the ball. But I'm telling you, well, you played football. I know for the Niners, like, that offensive rhythm is everything. Like, we needed. Same thing happened with the Ravens regular season game. Like, we're driving and Purdy throws that horrible read for an interception. And, like, it just throws the entire game off. We're all about rhythm. And when you're playing against Patrick Mahomes, they're going down the field. I'm like, oh, yeah. We got it. We got it today. It's flowing like musically. And then he fumbles, man. I was like,
Rob, here's my issue with that. You're supposed to be, people consider Kyle Shanahan an elite coach.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And
he is.
The rhythm is broken. We've seen elite coaches
adjust,
figure out how to get the rhythm back. I'm being honest.
I mean, was Bill Walsh an elite coach?
Yeah.
Same thing used to happen to us in the
No,
playoffs with Bill Walsh.
Whoa.
I can bring up games against the Rams where we lose rhythm. Yes.
Against Cincinnati, they were down late in the fourth quarter in that Super Bowl. Joe Montana drove them down the field and won the game.
Okay, that's Joe Montana. We don't have Joe Montana.
But even with the lack of that was in the first quarter. The defense didn't lose momentum. I mean, the defense, they didn't lose momentum. So my thing is, as an offense, find a way. You have Deebo Samuel. You have Brandon Ayuk. You know, you got McCaffrey.
You got Christian McCaffrey. You got a dream team. And
Deebo was getting shut down. Like Deebo was getting shut down. Like so.
And that was by design because I feel like teams purposely target Deebo because quiet is kept. I mean, outside of McCaffrey, he is that engine number 2 when he can do his different things.
Player. I think when you look at the games they've lost, he's been quiet.
Yep.
Because he can do so many things in so many different positions.
Right.
You know, okay. You know, so you still feel Wilks. I feel like Wilks was a scapegoat.
Yes, I do too.
That's how I feel.
100%.
The Super Bowl loss has nothing to do with Wilks. Like he's not blamed for that at all.
But I feel like, okay, I want to articulate what I'm saying.
They're not going to fire Shanahan. So I guess in his whatever coaching schemes or decisions that he needs to make, I guess Wilks was the one he decided to get rid of. I don't know who else whatever other changes he would have made. But
But what if, and you might have said this when I was gone for that minute. It felt like Wilks ran, like you said, like D, you said, a gap control offense where now Bosa's not expected to get the sack, but expected to hold the blockers up so that Fred Warner or Greenlaw or who's the other linebacker, the third linebacker?
Oh, I forgot who the third one.
But who could get the sack? And I think that was where the disconnect was because Wilks' background is the secondary. So, but I felt like you gave when DeMarco Ryans came in the league, the 49 replaced Salah, the 49ers defense was the third-ranked defense. That's what they were under Wilks. And then his second year, they became the first-ranked defense. So I just wish he would have gotten a chance to see what kind of adjustments with another full year under what he knew he had to work with would have done. Like, I felt like he deserved that's how, but be it here or there, it doesn't matter. But I felt like him and Shanahan and Sean McVay, I'll say it, scapegoats. It's Jared Goff's fault.
When are we going to put those two on the hot seat?
We would, and to be fair to McVay, they did win. I felt like him firing Wilks. I mean, he's a great. I felt like that was a little scapegoatish. The bottom line is Shanahan has had double-digit leads in all 3 Super Bowls, which he's been a part of.
2 are against Patrick Mahomes.
I don't want to hear that.
And the third one was against Brady, the GOAT. So, I mean, I blame him for the Atlanta loss. The 2 49er Super Bowls, like, we need more offense. Like, I blame him for, like, some of the offensive calls, but you gotta, when you have Patrick Mahomes against the ropes in the first 3 quarters, you got to put him away on offense. So,
agreed.
Yes, we can put blame on him for not dialing up plays or scheme, like to put them away. And that's why I said in this particular Super Bowl, we were supposed to put them away in the first half. Like, we were doing our thing and we were not scoring points. I knew it was over. As a realistic fan, I'm like, we're not going to win this.
But that wasn't even the great Chiefs that we saw. That year, they weren't even, I mean, we knew in the postseason they got they started moving. They started building momentum. But that was a beatable Chiefs. I just knew San Francisco was going to kill them. Like, I don't know.
I thought the Ravens was going to kill them. Look, the Chiefs got let off the hook.
The defense for the Chiefs was great. It was the offense.
3 games in a row.
Right.
3 games in a row.
Want to point out this at Fanatically Biased Sports. We as sports fans know that Patrick Mahomes gets special treatment. That there are holding calls. Oh no, there are holding calls that aren't called when he's at quarterback, or he gives the Patrick Mahomes point, and the flag comes out.
Flag.
I mean, so we respect that. There were a bunch of holds in that game, and I wish I would have put this on you to cue earlier, Casey, but we probably would have gotten in trouble because we didn't own the rights. But I mean, Nick Bosa was held like 2 or 3 times on the same play, and that was disgusting. I mean, that was disgusting.
No, the tragic one is actually a Super Bowl after the 2019 season, where like they are holding Bosa on that big throw that Patrick makes down the field to Tyreek. Like that was a clear hold. That play should have never happened. You know, that game is over.
Right.
Like anyway.
I know. So
as a fan, like we used to win all the Super Bowls, and now like we've lost 3 in a row. So like this is.
But I thought in the Super Bowl we just supposed to let them play. Like they're not going to catch every hole. We're going to let these boys play. I mean, these men.
No. Not if you're Patrick Mahomes.
About the Chiefs versus Philadelphia. Everybody keeps saying, "Well, that whole juju call. They should just let the boys play." It was the last 1 minute left, and I'm like, okay, and they should let them play all the time in the Super Bowl.
Do not.
Patrick Mahomes is good for. Pat Mahomes is good for football. He's good for football. He's like Brady. He's good for football. So that's to Rob's point. When you want to beat those guys, you have to straight up beat those guys. You can't leave it to the zebras. If the game is close, you lost already. You know, that's just the type of effect that they have on the game. Like they need to be buried.
It should have been 28-3.
With Shanahan, that wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, he would have just
run with Shanahan. That would 3. The Chiefs came back and scored 10. San Fran scored 0.
I would say because you said 28-3, and that was the score of the Patriots Falcons. So with Shanahan, that wouldn't have mattered. He needs to be up like 35-0.
I don't know.
So we've got the defense out of the way. We're going to agree to disagree. Rob feels that Wilks was deservedly fired. Or do you want to speak?
Delusional.
I never said he was deservedly fired. I just think what he wants to run versus what I guess Shanahan and even Lynch wants the team's defense to run. It doesn't mesh. Okay. So it's not going to work. Let's let him go and bring in who you all really want to bring in. It doesn't mesh because Lynch definitely has say into what's going on with the Niners and their schemes as well. So
right, and
I hate that. I hate that. That people in the background be pulling strings. It's like Jerry Jones. Like, dude, if you're gonna hire coaches, let them do what they do.
But with that being said, let me just give a quick shout out. Rest in peace to Monty Kiffin, author of the Tampa 2, who passed away yesterday.
Yes.
Off of that 2002 defense featuring George Lynch, Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, Rondé Barber.
I know you ain't gonna forget about my guy,
Simeon Rice from Simeon Rice from Mount Carmel High School in Chicago.
Bro, we was about to have real issues.
My bad.
Thank you.
We're taking this time out to give a rest in peace and our condolences to the Kiffin family, to one of the greatest defensive coordinators to ever do it. And then I was listening to the radio today. They said he was responsible for some other schemes that were big in the 80s too, like the quarters, safety over the top coverages too. So We want to just make sure we send our condolences out there. Now we're going to move on to another topic. It's been the offseason of the quarterback, and the 49ers are going to have a quarterback who is going to be in line to get paid. So we want to
Make it
ask
rain in
our
the club.
49ers
Make it
guests, where do you think Brock Purdy's worth is? Is you seen to Trevor Lawrence is 55, Jared Goff, what about 53?
Yeah, something like that.
Dak's yet to get paid. There's another quarterback in there who I've forgotten about. But where do you feel what are the 49ers going to do about their quarterback situation?
Oh, we have another. That's why they're still bringing in people, because we don't have to pay him at the end of this year. This is his third year. I think he was drafted last, so I think it's a 5-year. So
no, I think first year is 5 year. I think when you go past the first round, I
thought that his particular contract was the rookie contract that he was brought in on was a 5-year thing. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
We got to look that up, but I know he's coming up. Yeah. So let's just say it.
I didn't think he would be coming up until after next year.
Okay.
I need to look that up. I'm
looking it up now. Sorry, I have to use my iPad.
Brock Purdy.
But does
I love to put up my my tiers.
He signed a 4-year, $3 million deal. So
okay, so that would be after.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically, because you don't want. So they would look at a deal after this year. I mean, if the man plays, if he plays like he's been playing the past 2 years, you got to give him market value.
So that's over $50 million.
You got to give him market value, yes.
So you're saying he's in the elite quarterback?
Yeah. Brock Purdy has been playing elite ball. Like, he's been playing smart ball. He doesn't have the strongest arm. That's the only thing I wish he had. If he had that, he probably would have been drafted much higher. He doesn't have the strongest arm, but he's been playing smart. He makes the throws. If he gets good blocking, like, I have no issues with Purdy. Yes. So if he continues to play well like he did the first 2 years, give the man market value for quarterbacks, and let's go with it.
Make him the highest paid, or put him within the Burrows and
no, you're not making him the highest paid. No.
Okay.
Over 50.
Can I iterate that? Because you do realize the cap's going to make another jump. So with the cap's going to make another jump, if market value might be the highest paid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just like with Trevor Lawrence's new deal. I think technically, I don't know if another quarterback has had a deal since, but I think technically he's the highest paid. But when you break it out over however many years it is, it's actually a great deal for Jacksonville, because it's back-ended. So like, he's a lot of that money on the back end he's not going to get unless Trevor, starts playing like Burrow and all of them. So that's the way I'm sure the Niners will structure a Purdy deal.
Okay.
So overall, everybody will say, "Oh, Purdy's the highest paid quarterback." Well, you have to really look at how the years are broken out.
As much as I have to say,
that will be the end of the 49ers.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask next. If you give him that much money, then what do you do with Brandon Ayuk? What do you do with?
Well, they got to decide on him this year, right now.
They got to decide on him this month.
Brandon Ayuk does not deserve $30 million a year. I'm sorry. I don't think he deserves quarterback money. He was not he didn't. Yeah, I mean,
not quarterback, but what about
I'll give you $30 million, but 25.
49ers fans watching this, that might be a.
I mean, okay, but to be fair to Brandon Ayuk,
so 25.
He's what he does is he gets those deeper routes, which lets Kittle and Debo operate the middle of the field. So I mean, you got he's a Michigan guy, Ronnie Bell, but he's a big, fast receiver who, if you can lock him up, the longer you wait, the more it's going to be an issue because you got to pay Purdy.
They offered him 26.8, which works so that we can also, keep other players and like continue to build a team. He wants Justin Jefferson money. I don't think he deserves, the amount that he's asking for that's going to cause us to miss out on other people. Like, I'm all about team. Like, look, man, you're good, but I don't think you're Justin Jefferson good. That's why the 49ers, I don't know if y'all heard about this, secretly, like, if we're going to pay that, let's get Justin. The 49ers tried to trade for him, but I guess the Vikings didn't want Ayuk.
Well, I mean, I like Ayuk, but he's not Justin.
Yeah, that's not a fair trade.
He's not Justin.
I mean,
and he shouldn't be asking for Justin money.
Say that again?
He shouldn't be asking for Justin.
Because Justin got 35.
Even 30 though, because I'm looking at what tier of wide receiver do you put Ayuk in? I think he's a really good receiver, like really, really good, and he's important to what you guys do. His lack of numbers come from what you said earlier. Purdy or the quarterbacks that he's had just don't have the strong.
Is he as good as
Here's the thing.
Brown?
Here's the problem. He doesn't run Ross St. Brown's routes. We talked about Ross St. Brown. Ross St. Brown runs a lot of over the middle crossing routes and stuff and gets yards after catch. What Ayuk does, he needs a quarterback with a stronger arm, and Garoppolo and Purdy aren't those guys.
Got it.
He could, like, if you put Ayuk with the Chargers, oh God, it's going to be much different. But he does need to be a little bit more realistic, I think. And I mean, I think
Brown.
No, but I think he's, Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley-ish, that tier. He's not AJ. AJ is like tier 2 to me.
AJ's getting 33.
Right. But I mean, okay, so 28 ain't gonna work for IU.
30. He wants 30.
No. I'm sorry.
It's hard for me to say because of the cap space is going up and receivers are now making quarterback money. But
it's going to be interesting.
I would have to look at his numbers versus some other guys.
Go ahead, Rob. It's clear that the Niners they drafted 2 receivers, and it's clear that during the preseason, they're going to look to see how their scheme, if it continues to flow with these rookie guys. Because 2019, 2020, we didn't have Ayuk, and they were making some of the same sort of things happen on offense.
That's a good
point.
So
it's clear that that's what they're doing. Well, I
actually think, Jennings is still on the team, right?
Yes. And
I actually like Jennings.
I love Jennings.
I like Jennings. So, Ayuk needs to come down a little bit on the price. Just a little bit.
I hope y'all
don't cheat the man.
I hope y'all get to it. I think 28. I think 28, 30, you're right, is a little high. But 28, 29, I hope y'all can get to, because your window is right now.
Yes.
And the NFL, and what he does is he allows people from his deep routes, those deep posts, those even deep crossing patterns, that allows Debo to get those coverages with them linebackers and Kittle, because them safeties and the corners are occupied on the back end.
Yep.
And
if you notice,
you might get that with a young receiver, but it's going to take time, and your window is now.
But it's a lot of teams in the NFC whose window is now. The Detroit Lions window is now. The Green Bay Packers window is
forward
now.
Down the field.
So if I'm Ayuk, I'm like, I think somebody would pay him 30, and I'd probably leave and go, because 49ers would be okay without him. I mean, that's me. They're okay without him.
Well, he's under contract. This is just his last year. They're trying to
they can
they're trying to negotiate, but I mean, I just think if I'm Ayuk, 2 fingers.
You know what I would have loved to see them do? I think they should have made the trade with Cincinnati because T. Higgins would have took 28.
Ooh, yeah.
And I love Ayuk in Cincinnati. I mean, and they need to look at that. They need to look at that.
So we need to get them a copy of this show and say,
And
D
T.
said,
T. Higgins with Brock Purdy with his length on the outside.
Yeah. And I mean, and Ayuk in Cincinnati. I mean, I think it works for both.
Well, Ayuk went on a podcast this week or early this week, or maybe it was last week. It sounds like he's trying to get to Washington. So
okay.
He's just delusional. I think he likes him and Jaden Daniels are good friends, from what I understand.
Yeah, they're good friends.
Yeah, well.
That doesn't equate to wins. That doesn't equate to wins.
He
obviously don't want to ring it. It's about the money and the friendship. It ain't about the ring. Because if he wants to go to Washington.
That's what I feel.
That's the same thing with Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. It's about the friendship. They ain't ready.
Well, yeah, but they close.
I'm messing with you.
Hey, don't trigger me.
I'm sorry. You got me up late, so I feel I trigger you while we up late.
You crossing that line now. No. Okay, so Purdy, you think should get paid. Ayuk, negotiations.
You need a smart quarterback in this league. You got to pay the man. Okay.
Now let me ask you this. With the 49ers, we were talking about it before you came on the phone. The 49ers have been to 3 of the 5 last NFC championship games. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is your expectations this year Super Bowl win or bust? Barring injuries, I mean, we know stuff can happen. But is for your expectations going into the season?
Yeah, I think this is our last. I think our window is probably this year.
Okay.
I mean, our team is not old, but you know, after a while in the NFL, like things switch up. Like y'all said, Detroit is coming. All these other teams.
It's this year.
Chicago. I think it's this year. I think you got to win, and it's going to be hard this year.
Because Trent Williams, I mean, how much more do you expect to get out of Trent?
Yeah,
you know, and he's huge. We seen, and this is, I'm just gonna say this is why you don't pay Purdy as much. When Trent got hurt, Purdy looked terrible. He looked terrible.
But what quarterback doesn't look terrible when you don't have your best left tackle?
I get it, but dude, I'm not paying Brock Purdy over $50 million a year when the reason he is what he is because of his smarts, but also because of what they have around him.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you?
He ain't Jared Goff good.
What do you do?
That's why the window was this year. It's this year because if they pay Purdy next year, that window's closed.
Well, we got Trent signed. So I guess if you base it off Trent, he just signed a 2-year extension. So we know we got him this year and next year if he doesn't get injured.
Yeah.
But
that's a hard man to
you have
replace right there.
I think you have to pay Purdy just because the way the league works, the way the quarterback position works, unless there's somebody out there like this man has proven, even though he doesn't have the strongest arm and you know he's not elite in the sense of, you know, I get quarterbacks who can just make things happen on their own. You know, he's not Burrow, he's not Mahomes, he's none of those guys. But he's smart and he works within that system. And yes, he does have players around him, and he knows how to be a great point guard.
Got you.
So
so you play him as such, but that ain't elite. That ain't Jordan money.
But that's not Jordan money. But the position of quarterback is going to dictate. Okay, he's a great point guard, or he's a great facilitator. So you got to pay him. You got to pay him the market value for that position.
So what's the highest right now? 56,000.
55.
A year? 55.
55.
Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence. But Dak's gonna get 60, so you could just get
He's
ready
not.
to be mad, D.
Dak is
Dak's
not.
gonna
First of
He's
all,
not
that's
gonna get 60.
first of all,
he's getting
he
60.
probably will, but that's trash. That's
Oh, okay.
extremely trash.
You can get mad,
And this
but
is what
that's
I'm
what
talking
he's
about. Because to me, if I got Burrow making 55, then Brock Purdy 45 should be good.
You said 45 for Brock?
I know he's smart for 45. I put Brock right now on maybe the tier right above Kirk Cousins.
So then you're right. So then he'd be in the top 10 if he made 45.
He ain't
Yeah, and
getting
that's good.
45 with the way the cap is going up. He's getting over 50.
Right.
Well-
And you're making sense, but I'm saying logically, from what his skill set is, as he has smarts, but he lacks a little bit on the skill set side. And you got to keep players around him for him to flourish. Yeah. If you're paying him 50-something million, I know you signed Christian McCaffrey. I know Debo signed for another couple years. But again, maybe he's one of them knowing they got to pay him is one of the reasons they can't pay him. And you're going to start seeing those. Right? And you're going to start seeing those players, go elsewhere. And now, okay, Brock, what are you going to do when you don't have those money?
That's my question.
Yeah,
they'll back in the contract.
Yeah,
so it'll say
that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
That's what you do. That's the nature of the NFL with Super Bowls. You win that title, and you even see with the NBA. Denver Nuggets won the title 2 years ago. They've been letting players go ever since to try to get back. You hope you have a championship to show for it. That's what teams do. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. I'm just saying. So I'm looking at your draft, Rob. You got this Ricky Pearsall from your rival school. FYI, everybody, Rob's a Florida State fan. We'll get into that when college football comes around.
We got a couple of Seminoles in the draft, too.
Yeah, I saw Renardo Green. Is he the answer? I mean, he had an unbelievable catch. He made some great catches.
Oh, are you talking about the wide receiver?
Yeah, Ricky Pearsall.
Well, according to what's the Panthers' old wide receiver who's retired now?
Greg Olsen?
No, the wide receiver.
Steve Smith.
According to Steve Smith, Pearson is a great pick.
Okay.
He did this breakdown on YouTube of all the wide receivers. So, I mean, I watched one of his tapes. He made some unbelievable catches. Like some of them I watched like 3 or 4 times. So I was like, man, how did he catch that?
Yeah.
He's fast. So, I mean, but you get to the NFL, it's I guess, you'll see how I guess he develops there. But I guess the so-called experts, which I don't really consider these ESPN draft analyst experts, but according to them, right, we reached, but they don't know.
He made some great catches, and I think it's about need. You got Purdy, who doesn't have the strongest arm, but maybe a throw-it-up receiver who can go up and make plays might be good. So you feel good about the draft and what you're doing because it's Super Bowl win. It's not even Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl win.
It's right? Super Bowl win. I feel good about the draft. We got what we needed. I think we got 2 wide receivers. We definitely needed that. We got a cornerback, which our receivers, our secondary played well last year, but we definitely could use someone on the other side of Travaris Ward.
Right.
So that was great. And we got linemen. Lord knows we need offensive linemen. So I feel really good about our draft. And now that's one thing I'll give John Lynch credit. Like he's been great drafting players.
Yeah.
So we haven't really hit it off on drafting quarterbacks early, but like 2nd round through 7th round. Lynch, he's been like,
because you know Brock Purdy saved Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's job.
He
saved their job.
Yeah,
because
time out. First of all, Jimmy Garoppolo saved his job by eating crow and coming back. when Shanahan had. So let's give our props to Jimmy G first.
No, I'm gonna put Brock Purdy because
Ain't he fine? Okay, sorry.
Shanahan didn't even want that man. He didn't even want him.
Well, are you talking about Purdy?
No, Garoppolo.
No, he didn't want Garoppolo. No.
And then all of a sudden, what was it? Somebody got hurt. What's the guy?
Oh, then the quarterback,
Trey Lance, right?
Trey Lance got hurt.
And now Shanahan's like, oh my God, Jimmy, can you save us, bruh? Seriously. So let's.
The thing is, I have to contest if Shanahan didn't want Garoppolo because
he did.
I know he didn't, but
he also. Oh, go ahead, Elliot.
Go ahead, Rob, because you know more than I do.
He also didn't want Trey Lance. There was disagreement in the draft room about Trey, and the whole time they were talking about it. See, I really think they went up to try to get Matt. What's his last name? That went to New England. Matt Jones. That's what. So that, because if you look at the whole Shanahan history, even when they were here in DC. They didn't want Robert Griffin III. Like, they drafted him and then drafted your boy from Minnesota, Kirk Cousins later. Like, that's the type of quarterback that fits their scheme. It's not running quarterbacks like a Trey Lance, RG3. Mm-hmm. So there was debate about Trey Lance as well. I think, I don't think Garoppolo. I think actually having Garoppolo added to this whole genius thing for Shanahan, because people are saying, "Oh man, he took the team to the Super Bowl with Garoppolo." Like, I don't think Garoppolo saved his job. I think he's the one that sort of put Garoppolo on the map.
Well, all I know is, so you think Lynch had to have wanted Trey Lance then?
I know there was disagreement. So I think between Lynch and Adam Peterson, who just went to Washington, like, some of them wanted Trey, but Shanahan didn't.
Okay.
I'm starting not to like Shanahan.
Yeah, I just think I feel like 49ers Nation. Here's my thing with Shanahan. I feel like 49ers Nation is not holding him accountable.
Right.
The way they should be. That's all I'm saying. I'm sorry, Rob. 3 double-digit leads in the 3 Super Bowls where you had control of the outcome of the game with your coaching, and you lost them all. You got to be held
consulting him.
I don't see. How do you blame the 2019? Well, I guess it happened in 2020. How do you blame that Super Bowl loss on Shanahan? He dialed up the play. Jimmy didn't make the throw. The receiver is open. Jimmy underthrew the ball. He dialed up the play. Like, I don't think you blame that one on Shanahan. Like, he was going against Patrick in his prime. The defense played pretty much lights. I think they played lights out the whole game. The one play where Mahomes made it, like I said earlier, Bosa was being held. It was not called. Mahomes gets the fluke play, but the Niners get the ball back, and Shanahan dials it up. That's on Jimmy. That's why all the fans were like, "Get rid of Jimmy. Like, we need a quarterback. We need a quarterback."
But here's the thing: how much better is Purdy really than Jimmy? From a skill perspective,
he's smarter, man.
But I'm saying from a skill standpoint.
Up here, I cannot deal with. I don't know how many heart attacks I had watching Jimmy pacing around my house like, "Jimmy, please don't throw that. Please don't do that." Man, I
do think Purdy is a better player than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, up here I do agree, but I'm from a skill standpoint, like, would Purdy have been, because of his arm strength, would Purdy have been able to make that throw?
That's a good question. Like, he may not, because that arm strength is not good. Like, so if he's in that Super Bowl, maybe he can't make the throw either. But
or maybe he does.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe he finds it. Yeah, but he's so much smarter. Like, I think if he sees that, like, I don't think I can make that. Like, he's able to like look off to the side and like maybe make the 30-yard throw. Like, he's just so much smart. He makes smart decisions on the field.
And also, you're think about it's the Super Bowl. If it was Brock Purdy, your adrenaline is different when you're in a big game. So you don't. I mean, and I've never played football, but I ran track. I was faster during game time. When I knew I was going to against somebody way better, you just get faster. Your adrenaline just eats you up. And who knows, Brock Purdy's arm, a few seconds could have got just a tad bit stronger. He would have made that throw. So
I'm going back to this 49ers 2019 Super Bowl because I had to go and look at some stats.
Okay.
And what I remember in that fourth quarter when they came in with a 10-point lead, I believe, and the Kansas City outscored them by 21.
Yep.
49ers got 141 yards on 19 carries. That's 7.4. What I remember about that game, and I wanted to make sure I remember. Go look. They stopped running the football in the fourth quarter. They were gashing the Chiefs in that whole game. Debo, 3 carries, 53 yards. Mostert, 12 carries, 58 yards. Somebody else, 2 carries, 28 yards. They stopped running the football.
I mean, yeah, that
wasn't the pass.
Shanahan tends to do that.
You were averaging 7.4 yards a carry.
No, they
Shanahan tends to do that.
Duty calls.
I think it's the ambo.
Okay. He's a fireman, Rob. So that's what that's about.
we get excited when the bell rings.
We hear the bell. We get excited. He's at the firehouse. Bear with me.
It's the ambo. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
No.
It's all good.
But that's my issue. Why? This is my issue with Shanahan. When the numbers are clear, when you have a 28-3 lead, you don't have a staff that's saying, run the football. They can't come back if we run the ball up. If we don't turn the ball over, there's no way they could come back. And you don't have a staff when your head coach says, Coach, we're averaging 7.4 yards a carry. We should be running the ball down. We have a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Why are we throwing? Run the ball. These are obvious.
That's
what Shanahan does. Shanahan does.
But I'm saying why Shanahan was offensive coordinator. I'll give you that with the Falcons. But I felt like, and maybe he didn't have enough sway. But with the 49ers in 19, when you're averaging 7.4 yards a carry, and then you start throwing the ball, and then you come out and say, I don't trust him as a quarterback. Come on, man. Come on, man.
I don't trust him as a quarterback.
Right, but then why, when you're averaging 7.4 yards a carry, why are you not running the football then?
No, he panicked. He panicked. Once Mahomes got that touchdown drive, he panicked. Like, we've seen coaches do that before. And then you try to start throwing the ball to try to, you can't try to match up with Patrick. Like, you gotta run it down his throat. But that one play he dialed up, man, like, I'm screaming at the TV because I'm like, Jimmy, like, how can you? Yeah, it's
okay.
But Shanahan has the Campbell. Him and Campbell went to the same school of coaching.
Oh yeah.
They just want to be smarter than everybody instead of doing the obvious.
That's it.
Yeah. I give you that.
I do say that about Shanahan sometimes. Sometimes he's so smart until he's dumb.
Yeah.
Well, with that being in mind, I've looked at your schedule, and it seems like the front half of your schedule is pretty opportunistic.
This is my favorite segment, Rob.
So
this might change you from a delusional to a realistic fan.
And just a W or an L.
This is your chance to redeem yourself.
Wait.
Because right now you are in delusion.
I'm the most realistic fan there is.
Oh God.
Just go with your heart, Rob. Go with your heart. Go with your heart. Okay.
All right.
So
I'm going to start with the game, and you'll say W or L, and then we'll go me, Demetrius, Casey, and you'll respond W or L, and we'll do the tallies. I'll start. First game of the season. Jets at 49ers. W or L?
Oh, so I started.
Yeah. Win or loss?
Jets and W.
W. D, go ahead. It's 49ers at Vikings. Oh, go ahead.
Are we going to go every game, or are we just going to
every game? We're going.
Okay. So 49ers at Vikings. I got a W.
Go ahead, Rob. 49ers at Vikings.
W.
Casey?
49ers.
Next one?
Yeah, 49ers at Rams. W.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm going to say W.
W. We always beat the Rams.
I'm going to say loss. Okay, it's on me. Patriots at 49ers. I'm going to say W for the 49ers.
W.
Okay. D.
Okay. What we got? We got Niners at Cardinals.
Or Cardinals at Niners.
Is it Cardinals at Niners?
Yeah.
No.
I think they at home for that one.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah, the last game of the season they away at the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So Cardinals at home, easy W.
Rob?
Is this 49ers at Cardinals?
Yeah.
This is Cardinals at 49ers.
Oh, W.
W. So right now we're 4-1. Casey, go ahead.
Next game
Well,
is
Rob's 4-0, right? Or 5-0.
4-1. He's 4-1.
I'm 5-0. I said
5-0.
5-0. 5-0.
All right. So next game is going to be Thursday Night Football, 8:15 at Seattle.
Ooh.
I'm going to give y'all, you just would have played Sunday. Easy win. You traveled to Seattle. I'm going to give you the W.
W. Seattle has issues.
I'm with you. Loss. I'm with you.
No, because the next game up, they get ready to lose.
It's a short week. It's a short week.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
a short week.
Short week last year.
Seattle's still on the West Coast, so I think it's going to be okay.
I'm counting I'm counting McDonald, the new coach. The defense is going to be rolling. 49ers are 4-2 for me. Rob, they're 6-0. Okay. Now the big one. When you'll be here, Rob, watching with my son Caleb. Chiefs at 49ers.
That's a loss. That's why I'm not going to the game.
Oh, so we're the sloppy seconds.
Yeah, I'll be at your house.
Okay.
You know what? I got a W on that, but go ahead.
I got a W.
I got a W.
We never.
Only Rob, L. They're not going to revenge that Super Bowl.
We're 0-4 against Patrick Mahomes.
I think
you guys are going to get West. You're going to get rest. You're at home. You should be hungry after losing the Super Bowl. You get a W.
This next matchup is on.
Oh, no.
Cowboys at 49ers again the next week.
W. I think the Cowboys are going to be worse.
I agree. So, Rob, I agree. Cowboys are going to lose to the 49ers. So, you have the 49ers at this point, 7-1. I got y'all at 6-2.
No, so, Rob, what do you have? 7-1? Okay,
Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
49ers at the Buccaneers.
Oh, that's an easy one. W. Don't do that to Brock and them. I like Baker, but
off of a bye week. Off of a bye week.
Oh, this is after a bye week?
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, W. If it's off a bye week, I'll give us a W.
And
yeah, it is. It absolutely is.
My turn. So go ahead, D.
No, you good. You good.
My bad. Go ahead, D. Next one.
Where we at? Okay. The next one is home versus the Seahawks.
W.
I agree. W.
I agree.
Oh, Casey, go ahead with this.
Then you all are this is a Thursday night game. No, this is a Sunday game. You're going to travel to Lambeau Stadium to take on the Packers.
Loss, L.
I agree, L.
Man, you coming back into realistic. Oh, man. Whew. You
It's going to be
saving
a good
yourself,
game,
Rob.
though. It's going to be close, but I think it's going to be an L. It's going to be a field goal decision.
I got an L on that one, too.
Ellie.
It's on you, L.
Huh?
It's on you, L.
Okay, 8-2. Oh, you got a little tough stretch here. So now, after the Packers, you go to Buffalo to face the Bills.
L.
In December.
That's an L.
Okay, so you're 8-3. I got you at. I'm gonna agree, but I have you beating the Chiefs, so we're at 8-3. Okay. Oh,
I got a W. I got a W for the Bills.
For the Bills, really? I don't have that.
The Bills are in shambles, right?
They did.
We don't even know who Allen's gonna throw it to. So I mean, he got Keon, but
you got Rob's Florida State brother.
Yeah.
I mean,
given Purdy's arm, I mean, you can't have bad weather because.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He can't play in the rain or wet conditions. So,
dude, they will run it down the Bills, but the Bills' defense is depleted.
That's true.
That's true.
But go ahead. I'll give you the W on that. So I think.
And D, this is only fitting.
Yeah, you have the honors, D.
Oh.
This is only fitting.
At home versus my Chicago Bears.
Oh, that's a W.
In your face, D. He played.
I gotta agree with that.
The bad part is I agree. That's the bad part is I agree.
I'm gonna save this tape, and if Chicago wins, I'm gonna play it back for all three of y'all.
I hope they do, but look, this is me being Mr. Realistic. I can't give the Bears I'm giving the Niners the W.
All right, so then y'all are gonna stay home. Well, I think this is a Thursday game because it's 4 days later. LA Rams at home.
Ooh.
W. We love them.
I say L. You're tired after beating the Bears. You tired?
No, we love.
I like.
The momentum by now. So.
All right, 10-3. Rob is at 10-3.
He got on par with me. Go ahead.
Okay, here's a good one. You got a little 10-day rest because of the Thursday night game. You playing in Miami in December where it's humid.
L.
It ain't humid in December.
In Miami, it is.
No, it's not.
In Florida.
No, it's not.
It ain't humid, but the problem is
it's hot.
It'll still be warm enough for the Dolphins show to happen. That's it.
Okay.
That's going to be a fascinating game.
It'll still be warm enough for the Dolphins show.
You saying
I'm
L,
saying
Rob?
L, but I could see, depending on how the Dolphin season's going. I'm definitely saying L.
All right, next up,
D, go ahead.
Next up, another NFC North. Another NFC North opponent. You guys got the NFC North this year. You got the Lions at home.
On Monday.
Ooh.
We'll win that. On a Monday night?
Monday.
We'll win that. I'll tell you why. Because Goff got it. Goff got in his, Goff started doing this thing during the end of the year and into the playoffs. He got in a great rhythm. Goff is not as good as he played the end of last year. I think it's going to come a little down.
Rob, you want to take that right?
It's going to come down to which coach is dumber. Let's just be real. That's what I feel like. So
I can't talk about baby mamas, but he can call them dumb.
Casey, our minute and 30-second segment on Instagram, I want you. It's going to come down to which coach is dumber. That has to be a part of our minute and 30-second segment. Which coach is dumber?
I got an L for the Niners on that.
I'm gonna say, Rob, you're at 11. You're at 12-3 now. You might be at 13.
I have 4 losses.
You're at 12-4.
And then I'm going to end it by saying your January 5th game against Arizona. I don't think you guys are going to play hard because you're getting ready for the
playoffs.
But you want that number one seed. It just depends on how you how you fare well.
They might have to play hard because remember, this is the
Detroit.
There's only one number one.
Right.
There's only one.
That's what I'm saying. It could be because they want the number one seed.
They might be going up against the Eagles.
Elliot, no one's talking about AJ and
you know what, Casey? I'll tell you.
So then I'll give you the W.
No one's talking about your quarterback in Carolina. That's what no one's talking about.
The Cardinals might not even be playing their starters because they're gonna be terrible. So that's the W for them.
Yeah, so I'll give you the W there.
You're saying 13-4?
Yeah, I think we go 13-4, maybe 12-5.
12-5 is what you were last year.
Rob, I like to show you something. This is what I did before the show. That's my record for you guys. 12-5. So I'm bringing you back to me being Mr. Realistic. Congratulations. You scared me there. You scared me at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, when you said Christian McCaffrey,
the whole Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, thing? I got to. Yeah, that didn't make no sense.
You got.
Yeah,
I knew people wouldn't think of that, but
nobody.
Fans who pay attention knows that was humongous. Like that was.
You know those memes where people say nobody and then they say Rob. Christian McCaffrey's why they lost the Super Bowl. Like, yeah, that's the meme. Nobody, nothing, and then Rob. You know they lost because of Christian. Like what? Nobody.
Yeah, that fumble. That was it. I'm telling you.
I like your confidence about it. You stood your
in the first quarter. That's exactly
the first quarter. The first drive.
That was it.
So before we go, I'm gonna put you on the spot because first of all, we want to thank you for being a part of our sports show.
This is fun,
definitely man. We'd love to have you back, especially with the Knolls coming with what happened last year. Oh Lord. Oh. Go blue.
Look, he's about to start doing one of these.
Right. But one player, greatest 49er of all time.
That's easy.
Ronnie Lott.
Ooh.
I like this guy. And that's because I'm a defensive guy, so actually Ronnie Lott.
Ronnie Lott. The reason a lot of people don't remember this because it was the catch. But Joe Montana was terrible that game. He threw 3 interceptions, had a fumble. The defense kept us in that game. We had 6 turnovers. 4 of them were on Montana. We thank him for the greatest drive and
really
catch ever. But the defense, man, was.
See, this is why we have to have this show because I didn't know that. Thank you for that.
I didn't know that. Are you short?
Somebody need to be holding Montana accountable.
Turnovers. Montana threw 3 interceptions and had a fumble.
Somebody need to be holding Montana accountable. You see, he has that aura. He has that aura. No, I'm glad, Rob. I'm glad you said that.
Let him sit at his house with his family and relax. Let him go.
No.
Well, Rob, we'd like to thank you. This has been a great experience for us, and thank you for being a part of the Fanatically Biased Sports Show. We hope you've enjoyed it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we are gonna, we're gonna come back to you during college football, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, the rest of your weekend. Thank you so much, and we'll before we put it out, we'll talk to you when we're gonna put it out on the line. Okay.
All right, and I'll send it to all the. I'll put it on the 49ers page. Let all the fans debate my Christian McCaffrey comment.
Yeah, and tell Kyle
we'll
be happy to have Kyle on the show too. If he wants to come on.
Oh.
Kyle Shanahan, we'll be happy to have him on the show. We're equal opportunity here.
That's what's up. Yes.
Make sure I'm not here that day.
Hey, we ain't scared.
I am.
Well, appreciate it, brother. We love you. Take care, man. And we wish the best for your 49ers unless they play the Eagles. Sorry.
All right, Barkley.
Yeah.